Hello and welcome to this week's accountability check-in. So here we are on Monday. I have set up my goals. I don't know if you can tell, but I tried using a stamp. Again, I was really into stamps this week. There's that new ink I got. So I've tried stamping my boxes. These boxes are kind of chunkier than the boxes I typically hand draw, which has encouraged me to write fewer goals. Is that good? Is that bad? Well, ask me at the end of the week after we've seen how things go. But right now I'm liking the look. I like the green with this black heart washi. I'm not sure I like actually how this part turned out, but that's okay. Let's dive in to our goals. So I wanted to review the 3 papers that are relevant to my proposal. I want to try to get through all 3 of them this week, so we'll see how that goes. I wanted to finish the zero draft for Poland. This paper is now referred to as the Hawaii paper and the Poland paper because it's basically the same, different emphasis, slightly different conclusions, but basically the same. I want to finish that this week. There's a professor I want to meet with. I wanted to email a couple people in my department to ask if they'd be on my committee. So those are like high stakes emails. I got feedback. I got like comments, right, on the proposal, the draft I sent to my advisor. I like to process those notes. So like, what does that actually mean? Well, I go through the PDF. In this case, my advisor actually like hand wrote notes in the margins on a PDF. So his handwriting is pretty good, so I could actually read them, which I was a little worried about. But I basically like take those notes and then I turn it into a list. Maybe I can like find the list here. Yeah, so this is my proposal feedback list. So he gave me a couple comments in the email. That's just generally things that need to happen. And then so I like synthesized those, and then I went through the in-text questions he gave and kind of wrote those down to try to figure out more concretely the specifics of what I'm trying to figure out. So I really like doing this whenever I get feedback. I do not like to stay in the PDF that has been marked up. I get nervous when I see my advisor's actual writing, especially if it's negative. I mean, in this particular case, it wasn't very negative. It was mostly like, what about this? What about that? What about this? Which was fair. I thought most of the comments, they were very fair. But I have gotten feedback, not that it was like aggressive or like negative in those kind of senses, but just like, you know, it's really hitting on something that like I'm aware is a problem, and it makes me feel angsty to see my professors writing, like pointing out this hideous problem in my thing. So by turning their writing into a list like this, I get to avoid looking at their writing, and now they're just friendly comments in my own hand, things like I'm really taking ownership over it. This is my thing, I gotta do this. So this is the kind of processing I'm talking about. I have not checked it off here, but as you can see, I've already done processing these notes. That's something I like to do very soon after getting the feedback, because the sooner I get it out of my professor's writing, the more I can just start working on it as like my things and kind of internalize them. So I got that done today. This week I'm also supposed to Skype with my advisor. He's on sabbatical, so this is the first time we've Skyped. I hate Skype. I actually just like really hate it. Try not to hate it because it's very useful. So we're gonna do that this week. Submit Hawaii, that's referring to the receipts, which I didn't do last week. Gotta try to get that done this week. I need to email one of the members of my dissertation seminar because I'm supposed to give comments, but our schedule has changed. So I need him to give me his paper earlier so that I can give him good comments and not rushed comments. So I need to email him asking if that's gonna be okay. I wanted to get a more concrete estimate on Krakow. This week, I started it last week, but I wanna make it more solid. I need to get the food for our meeting. So we're having a speaker that's not a Notre Dame speaker. So we like to have a better food spread. It's kind of, I don't know, I think it's nice. I think it's good for the speakers to see. I'm not sure it's necessary, but I want to do that this week, so we're going to get that food over there. And then this reading, Westerhoff. We're reading some Nagarjuna. This is for the the reading group that I mentioned last week from the UC Boulder guy. So I need to do the reading before I can actually attend the reading group. So I wanted to write those down there. I didn't want that to get lost in the cracks. So if we flip over to the other side, as a student, I'm supposed to read the old papers. This is like really important to my progression through the hoops that we gotta jump through as PhD students. So I need to do that. As a scholar, I need to finish the zero draft for many reasons, but most importantly, there is a publication opportunity through the conference I went to, and like need to finish the new draft if I'm gonna start progressing that direction. As a girlfriend, my boyfriend has a doctor's appointment, so I'm going with him because it's always better to have two people at doctor's appointments. Not always, I should not say always. There are some kinds of appointments I have that I would prefer to be alone, but the majority of doctor's appointments, at least in my group, my family, we think it's better to have two people. As a daughter, I gotta get my dad the car. He needs it twice this week, so gotta make sure he gets that. It's perspective week. We have our visiting students, so I'm supposed to attend those events. They're not specifically on here, but since they're events, I don't typically write events unless they're like high stakes for me. So I need to attend them. And then for my job, I need to finish grant review. We have a lot of grant review because there's a lot of students that want to study and do fun, interesting scholarly activities over summer. So that's a big deal. Got to get that done this week. All right, well, thanks so much for tuning in. I will let you know how it goes by Friday. Have a good one.